Hello everyone, welcome to this week's Morning Buzz. I'm Owen Rouse. Yesterday was National Shakespeare Day. Here's Mark Finn with more.
April 23rd was National Shakespeare Day, and we here at the Morning Buzz thought it would be fun to show how Shakespeare's stories still affect our entertainment today. So here are a few movies that were built from the original Shakespeare stories. Throne of Blood, 1957. Throne of Blood may not be as widely known as some of the other movies on this list, but is the most direct example of a Shakespeare retelling. The plot is a direct mirror of the classic Shakespeare tale, Macbeth. The only real difference is that Throne of Blood is set in feudal Japan, rather than Scotland. 1,000 Acres, 1997. An old classic from the late 90s, based on Shakespeare's play, King Lear. In this movie, an elderly man is dividing his estate between his 3 daughters. Now, the daughters aren't necessarily evil, as is common in most other Shakespeare plays, but they are people struggling with loss and their own greed. On to something more familiar, West Side Story, 1961. West Side Story is an early 60s classic that can be described as a 60s take on the classic story of Romeo and Juliet. It is still a story of forbidden love across violent boundaries, but this time, instead of Vienna, it is in 1960s New York. The Lion King, 1994. The Lion King. Everyone is familiar with this classic Disney movie. What everyone may not be so familiar with is the heavy similarities that The Lion King shares with Shakespeare's Hamlet. Both the death of Mufasa and the rise of Scar are very similar to the core events of Hamlet, where the prince's uncle kills the king to seize the throne. And finally, my favorite. I wrote the list, I put in my favorites. Romeo plus Juliet, 1996. Romeo plus Juliet is a fantastic retelling of the classic Romeo and Juliet that any student of Mr. Paul's will be very familiar with. Romeo plus Juliet is a fantastic retelling of the classic Romeo and Juliet story. It includes the original dialogue, despite the modern setting. Another significant inclusion, other than dialogue, is the presence of Leonardo DiCaprio as Romeo.
Speaking of celebrations this week, Wednesday was Earth Day.
Happy Earth Day. I know it can be tough staying indoors, so here are some fun ways to stay connected with the outdoors while staying inside and celebrating the earth.
Soak up the sun. If you have the option, try sitting outside while you do your work or watch TV. It's important that you get some vitamin D and feel the sun on your skin. If you like, you can also look up how to make a makeshift projector and make this a family affair. Number 2. Make a small compost. If you have biodegradable food scraps, you can start collecting them in order to start a compost later, or you can start with an empty trash bin and soil if need be. Number 3. Try to grow a plant from seeds in your fruit. If you have tangerines after finishing the orange, you can take those seeds and plant them in a pot, in direct facing sunlight while using draining soil. This should work especially well if it's freshly picked orange and if it's planted during spring or summer.
Now let's check in with Miss McGrath to learn more about being green in quarantine.
This is Ms. McGrath, the advisor to the Reduce, Reuse, Recycle Club at CHS, and we've put together a short video for you with tips for you to stay green during the quarantine. So watch and enjoy.
You can go for a walk! Yeah!
You could also plant a garden. Whether inside or in your backyard, it's a great way to get fresh air or brighten up your home.
In the US, food waste is the single largest category of waste in landfills. This food emits methane, a powerful greenhouse gas that contributes to climate change. Don't let your food scraps end up in the landfill. Compost them at home instead.
For items that you can recycle, like this can, which is tin and plastic, you could repurpose them.
Try mending some old clothes. All you need are a needle, thread, and maybe a patch to make your old clothes wearable again.
You could make art out of recycled materials. I used shredded newspaper to make this paper bowl.
Another great thing to do would be to look up ways to be more eco-friendly and set some eco goals. A great place to start would be an at-home waste audit.
Without a doubt, this is a time that will go down in history. Here's more with Ms. Heller on how to help Hopewell create a time capsule.
Hi Hopewell Valley, I hope this video finds you all healthy and safe and that you're enjoying some extra time with your family. I wanted to share some information with you in regards to our COVID-19 time capsule. The school district, along with the Hopewell Valley Historical Society and the Hopewell Museum, are going to partner to create a COVID-19 time capsule, which is hopefully going to capture this moment in time. When we started this remote learning experience, I shared with my students information that compared what we're going through today with the Spanish flu of 1919. And I think it's really important for us to understand that what we're going through is going to drastically change our society, and it's something that people are going to be studying in the years to come. And it's also not something that is going to be a few short months. It's something that's going to impact us for the next couple years and even further than that, possibly. So we would like your help in capturing this time period and creating artifacts. I know that so many of you are creative in your own ways, and maybe you can contribute an artifact, whether it's drawing, a collage, a writing, a song. A lot of you may have younger brothers and sisters and you're going on walks and you're just capturing these extra times with your family via video or pictures. In Dr. Smith's letter last week, we put together this document that you can see, and it gives you some ideas of artifacts that we're looking for, but obviously you can create your own. We're going to be looking for digital artifacts and also hard artifacts. And in this upcoming week, we're going to send information out on how to submit those artifacts as we're working on a way to upload them to the school website. So I'm also really challenging the senior class. I know right now it's really hard for you. You know, I'm your senior class advisor, and it's been very difficult to help you guys through this. You know, you've been looking forward to prom and graduation and all these events that are going to capstone your senior experience in your high school career. And we're going to be opening this time capsule in the year 2033, which is when the incoming kindergarteners will be graduating from high school. And I challenge all of you to write a letter to that graduating class, go to tell them what you're going through and be honest and capture these feelings and these emotions. And I think that would be something that that class would really enjoy reading. When we open the time capsule in 2033, we would also like to have a Hopewell Grateful Wall. So many of you are doing great things, whether it's working with our food pantry, or we have students running marathons in their backyard and donating money to our community. We would love to see that and see what we're all grateful for right now. So you can see Dr. Smith's picture right here. If you could just take a picture of yourself, and even if this is just your artifact, that's great. And just write something that you're grateful for. You know, I'm grateful for this extra time with my daughter and my husband. You know, it's nice to kind of relax a little bit. Even though I do miss being at school and working with all my students, it has been nice to, you know, take a step back. And we're going to hopefully put together a Hopewell Grateful Wall and see what our community was grateful for at this time. This is also something that you can share with outside organizations. It's not just a school project. So if you're involved in, you know, a sport or an activity outside of school, or a church or religious group, please share this information with them. We're hopefully going to be sharing it via Facebook and a lot of other means through the Hopewell Historical Society and also the museum. But we're also looking for you to share the news with your family, friends, and other organizations. And last, if you're interested in getting involved in this project, please let me know. We're going to be categorizing the artifacts once we get back to school and once we get them all and see what we have. We're also going to need help in 2033. Now, I know you're not going to be in school at that time, but I can keep your email address, and if you're interested in helping plan that event, I will keep in contact with you, and hopefully you can help us plan a really cool event and come back and share your stories with people that are living in the community, and really help us explain to them what this time period was like for all of you. So again, I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy. And if you have any questions, please email me, but just look out for some more information either from Dr. Smith or Miss Smith over the next couple weeks, and hopefully you can submit an artifact that will help us capture this moment in time.
We're working with the Sources of Strength team to bring you more uplifting stories. This week's theme is family support.
This week was all about family support from the Sources of Strength wheel. Sources of Strength encourages all students and staff to reach out to family this weekend. Mrs. Drake had shared with us some of her family support. According to Mrs. Drake, the Drake family has been very busy giving family support. Grandpa came to live with us from the rehabilitation center to keep him safe from the virus and is in love with Georgia. We bring Grandma lunch and dinner and play family Zoom bingo together too. We help each other with homework and school projects and are enjoying the time we have together. Mrs. Toronto also shared a picture of her family getting out and enjoying the sun. That's all from Sources of Strength this week. Stay tuned for next week when we cover a new source of strength. The yearbook team needs your help. The yearbook team is looking for student pictures from homecoming or football games this year and other candidates from around the school. Please email pictures to amaniali@hvrsd.org to be featured in this year's yearbook.
Let's take another look at our Guess Who from last week. Could you name this baby? Well, this is none other than Mr. Tobin. Whoa! Now, for our next Guess Who, can you name this baby? Teachers, send Mrs. LaPlaca your baby pictures. We love seeing them.
Before we go, we'd like to share an adorable video courtesy of Miss Raskin. Whoever said that dogs and cats can't get along? This is Miss Raskin's cat, Boots, grooming her good friend Sully. There's an old saying that you don't choose the cats, they choose you. This is absolutely true for Boots, as she followed Miss Raskin and Sully home one day from their walk. Since then, Boots and Sully have been BFFs, and Miss Raskin's family has grown to include one cute and lovable kitty. Thanks, Miss Raskin, for sharing your heartwarming story with us.
But that's all for this week, everyone. Thanks for watching and have a safe and happy weekend.